I do what I do. He knows what I'm about to tell him right now. It's Mr. Keep running your mouth. That's what I do.
I just feel like I'm the champ, and at the end of the day, I'm just a fighting motherfucker. It doesn't matter. Inside, outside, I can just fight. So I just feel like if it gets down to the wire, and we gotta lock it up, I'm out on top.
Hey, look, as you can see how I'm looking, I stay solid. I'm always solid. I stay fucked solid up, man. You know what I'm saying? To the fans and all.
I do that job outside the ring. I'm a fighter, like I said before. Ain't no safety on the clock, so
I'll take them how they come and make them look ordinary.
What's going on? This is Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. And I was watching the aftermath of Canelo Alvarez becoming undisputed. And there were some images with T.O. up there with all his belts and Canelo up there with all his belts. And it was a lot of controversy with that image. And it was a couple YouTube videos made out saying, oh no, I don't know why they got T.O. up there with all the belts, because he's not really undisputed. And you know, it was just, it started to create a little interest, a little more interest in, you know, it was different seeing all those names up there that were undisputed. And because T.O. didn't fight Devin Haney, his name's not up there. And I kind of want to address that. You know, I believe that there is a 135-pound WBC Siamese Frankenstein type situation that Mauricio Sulaiman has to fix. It's time to do surgery. You know, this whole subject, this is like a thorn in a lot of people's side, you know, because what happened was around last November, T.O. took on Lomachenko after having defeated Richard Comey for the IBF. Now, Lomachenko was coming to the table with the WBC franchise, which, according to WBC, supersedes the WBC regular. He was coming with the WBO and the WBA. And my question always is, because they always try to say that Devin Haney had made it to be Lomachenko's mandatory. And I always ask, okay, so where's the proof for that? Because most of the time, from what I saw, he became the #1 contender. But I don't think he was the mandatory, because I'm thinking if he was the mandatory, then why did the WBC sanction that bout between Teofimo and Lomachenko? Because normally you hear about some step aside money, so they would have had to pay Devin some step aside money. But then you also say that unifications trump mandatories, but nobody ever really touches on that subject. It's only 1 or 2 channels that I really hear about actually touch on that. But this is a monster. That's why I call it a Siamese, because, you know, a lot of people are putting Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez on the same plane. And I think they're on 2 different planes. Not saying skill-wise, who knows, because they got to get in there and fight. But what I'm saying is, Teofimo ran the gauntlet. He fought Nakatani. He went and took a strap from Comey, which was the IBF. And then he fought Lomachenko. And prior to the fight, that fight was billed as for being undisputed. It wasn't until Teofimo picked up all them straps off of Lomachenko, because they say in order to be the man, you got to beat the man. So he beat the man. It's no question, because some people still saying that Lomachenko is the man in that division. And regardless of the politics as to why Devin Haney didn't fight Lomachenko, because Lomachenko avoided him, I'm thinking, well, you got to pick a side on that, because if unification is Trump mandatory, he didn't duck. So some people want to say he ducked him. So if you saying that Devin Haney was Lomachenko's mandatory, then unifications trump mandatories. If he wasn't his mandatory, then he didn't duck. So we got a quagmire. It's a catch-22. At the end of the day, for both of these young men, it's not doing either one of them any justice. One is running around acting like he's the best thing since sliced bread, you know, with a belt that was actually emailed to him by Mauricio Sulaiman. And that's the Frankenstein part. Mauricio Sulaiman created this monster. So I'm not blaming Devin Haney, and I'm not blaming Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez knew what he was getting into. He avoided the tournament. He got out of the tournament because he knew that being in the tournament and winning that tournament was not going to land him on Lomachenko's doorstep. He knew that Lomachenko was about trying to be undisputed and unifying all the belts. And that's what I question. Because if Lomachenko had all this energy to go ahead and unify all the belts, and he allowed, or he said, okay, well, cool, I'm going to fight Teo after he go get that last strap, which was the IBF, how is Teo not undisputed? So I moved past it because this is a 4-belt era, not a 5-belt era, and in the WBC, the franchise supersedes the regular. So people who are out here making this content about Teo not being undisputed gotta pick a side, and they have to be able to explain that. It is really it's without you sounding stupid or without you double talking and being contradictory to your own talking points. It's not going to make any sense when you explain that. However, I've moved past that. Here we have Devin Haney with what I believe his first real big test in Jojo Diaz coming up. That's on December the 4th. And before that, you have Kambosos. It's either on November the 20th or 27th, one of them dates. So here, like, so 2-3 weeks out, they're fighting, they're getting in the ring. We want this Kambosos saga to go ahead and wrap it up because it's been long and drawn out, not to get into the politics of why. But you have these guys fighting in 3 weeks, and I would like, as a pure boxing fan, and as to possibly get another pure undisputed, remove all doubt, championship fight at 135 to unify all of the belts, all 5 of the belts. I believe these guys need to fight. And I would like to see them fight by February, no later than March. And if you really want to push it so that they can have all the time in the world, there'll be no excuses, April at the latest. So I'm asking Mauricio Sulaiman to perform surgery on this manner. You're actually messing up the legacies of 2 young and up-and-coming fighters, 2 fighters with great potential. And, you know, it really need to be answered as to who is really undisputed. You know, I think that T.O. should have the benefit of the doubt because Devin Haney really hasn't fought anybody. And I'm not going to get into why he hasn't fought people in the whole nobody want to fight me, because there's a lot of BS surrounding that. But I believe that these 2 need to go ahead and get in the ring, and they need to go ahead and stamp it, because we could easily have a clear undisputed champion down at 135. Not to mention Tank fights on the 5th, and it's going to be a whole bunch of Devin Haney calling out Tank, a whole bunch of Teofimo Lopez calling out Tank after this fight. And I hope Tank ignore all of that. I hope Tank just put out a statement and say, look, send me an offer I can't refuse, and I'll get in there and dance with you. Other than that, Tank needs to be out of the conversation for now. It's clear that Tank is not fighting for legacy. Tank is fighting for paydays. He has become a belt. He's in another echelon. He is the money man. So let's set him to the side. And right now, I would like for Mauricio Sulaiman to get out the scalpel, get out the anesthesia, put this Siamese 135-pound WBC Frankenstein on the table and do some surgery. And all you need to do is take that little pen and get with your board meeting and actually make this fight happen. You got it from both parties that they actually want to fight each other, and let's go ahead and get undisputed at 135. Is that too much to ask? Body work.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you were here?
My word, and I do what I do. And he knows what I'm about to tell him right now. It's Mr. Keep running your mouth. That's what I do.
I just feel like I'm the champ, and at the end of the day, I'm just a fighting motherfucker. It doesn't matter. Inside, outside, I can just fight. So I just feel like if it gets down to the wire, and we gotta lock it up, I'm out on top.
Hey, look, as you can see how I'm looking, I stay solid. I'm always solid. I stay fucked solid up, man. You know what I'm saying? To the fans and all
You
that.
guys got outside the ring in the fighter, like I said before, ain't no safety on the clock, so